Chosen one, stop scrolling. You've been feeling different lately, haven't you? Like you don't belong anywhere. Like no matter how hard you try to fit in, something inside you resists it. But what if I told you, this isn't random, it's happening for a reason right now? And most people will never understand what you're about to discover. The feeling of not belonging was never a flaw. You tried to blend in. You tried to act like them. You even questioned yourself, wondering if something was wrong with you. But deep down, there was always a voice whispering, "This isn't you." That discomfort you feel in crowds, that silence you carry even when surrounded by people, it's not emptiness, it's awareness. You see beyond surface-level conversations. You feel energies others ignore. And that's exactly why fitting in feels impossible. Because you were never designed to shrink your soul just to match a world that hasn't awakened yet. The loneliness that shaped you. There were moments when you felt completely alone, not physically, but emotionally and spiritually, like nobody could truly understand what you were going through. You outgrew people without even trying. Conversations started feeling shallow. Connections started feeling forced. And slowly, you began walking your path alone. But that loneliness wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to build you. It forced you to rely on your inner strength. It pushed you to discover who you really are without outside noise. The silent awakening within you. Something changed inside you, didn't it? You started questioning everything. The way people think, the way society operates, even your own beliefs. You began to see patterns. You noticed things others overlooked. And suddenly, the world didn't look the same anymore. That's not confusion. That's awakening. Your mind is expanding beyond limitations. Your soul is remembering something deeper, something ancient. Why people misunderstand you. People started calling you too much or too different. Some even distanced themselves from you. Not because you did something wrong, but because your presence made them uncomfortable. You carry a different frequency. You challenge illusions just by being yourself. And for those who are not ready, that feels threatening. So they misunderstand you. They judge you. They try to label you. But the truth is, they don't understand what they can't perceive. The pressure to stay small. At some point, you felt the pressure to tone yourself down, to be less aware, less expressive, less you. You might have even tried it, pretending to fit in, ignoring your intuition, silencing your inner voice. But every time you did, it felt wrong, because your soul refuses to live a lie. It refuses to shrink just to be accepted. The truth about being chosen. Being chosen doesn't mean you're better than others. It means you're aware. It means you've been called to see what others don't see. It means you're here for a purpose that goes beyond normal life. A purpose that requires courage, awareness, and truth. And that's not easy, because awareness comes with responsibility. Once you see, you can't unsee. The hidden strength in your struggles. Every challenge you faced, every betrayal, every moment of pain, it wasn't random. It was shaping you, strengthening you, preparing you. While others were living on autopilot, you were being tested. You were being refined. You were being turned into someone who can handle deeper truths. The reason you can't go back. You've probably tried going back to your old self, back to old habits, old people, old ways of thinking. But it never works, does it? Because once you awaken, there's no returning to sleep. Your soul has already moved forward, and anything behind you will only feel heavier and heavier until you finally let it go. The world was never meant to understand you. Here's the truth nobody tells you. You're not here to be understood by everyone. You're here to walk your path, to follow your calling, to stay true to your awareness even when it feels lonely. Because the moment you start chasing validation, you lose alignment with your true self. The power of embracing your difference. What you once saw as a weakness is actually your greatest strength. Your ability to feel deeply, to see clearly, to question everything, that's rare, that's powerful. And the moment you embrace it, everything changes. You stop chasing acceptance and start living in truth. You were meant to stand out. You were never meant to blend in with the crowd. You were meant to stand out, to shine differently, to think differently, to live differently. Because your path is not ordinary, and it was never supposed to be. So stop trying to be like them, because they were never meant to be like you. The shift happening inside you right now. This isn't just a phase. This isn't something that will pass. This is a transformation, a shift in your consciousness, a calling that's pulling you towards something greater. And even if you don't fully understand it yet, trust it, because it's leading you exactly where you need to be. The fear of being alone versus the truth. Yes, sometimes it feels scary, walking a path that others don't understand, feeling like you're on your own. But here's the truth, you're not alone. There are others like you, quietly awakening, quietly rising. And somehow, messages like this always find you at the right time. The reason this message found you. This isn't a coincidence. You didn't just randomly click on this video. Something inside you led you here, something deeper, something beyond logic. Because your soul is ready to hear this, ready to accept this, ready to step into who you truly are. The moment everything starts to change. The moment you stop resisting who you are, everything shifts. You stop feeling lost, you stop feeling broken, you start feeling aligned. Because you're no longer fighting yourself, you're finally becoming yourself. You are not here to live a normal life. You're not here to follow the same path as everyone else. You're here to create your own path, to break patterns, to see beyond illusions. And that requires strength, it requires courage, it requires truth. The truth they don't want you to realize. The moment you fully awaken, you can't be controlled. You stop following blindly, you stop accepting lies, you start thinking for yourself. And that's exactly why the world tries to suppress people like you. But suppression only works on those who are asleep, and you're waking up. You are becoming who you were meant to be. Every step you've taken, every struggle you've faced, it's all leading you here. To this moment, to this realization, to this version of yourself. And even if the journey feels uncertain, trust it, because you are exactly where you need to be. You were never meant to fit in, and that's your power. So stop trying to force yourself into places that don't align with your soul. Stop questioning your difference. Stop doubting your path. Because the very thing that makes you feel out of place is the same thing that makes you powerful. And once you fully accept that, nothing will be able to stop you. If this message resonated with you, don't ignore it. That feeling you have right now, that's your confirmation. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you been feeling this shift in your life too? Make sure you like this video and subscribe to Chosen Wave, because this is just the beginning of your awakening journey, and you don't want to walk it alone. The moment you stopped forcing connections, there came a point where you stopped chasing people, not out of ego, but out of exhaustion. You realized that forcing connections only drained your energy. You started choosing peace over approval, silence over noise, and somehow, even though it felt lonely at first, it also felt right. Because your soul no longer craves temporary connections, it craves depth, truth, real alignment. The energy you carry is different. Have you ever noticed how people react to you without you saying much? Some are drawn to you instantly. Others feel uncomfortable for no clear reason. That's not random, that's energy. You carry a presence that disrupts masks. You reflect truth without even trying, and not everyone is ready to face that. Why your intuition feels stronger now. You've started trusting your gut more, haven't you? That inner voice that used to be quiet now feels louder, clearer, stronger. You can sense when something is off. You can feel when someone's energy doesn't match their words. That's not overthinking. That's alignment. Your intuition is sharpening because you're finally listening. The detachment you don't understand yet. Things that once mattered so much don't feel the same anymore. People, situations, even certain dreams you once chased. And it confuses you. You wonder, why don't I feel the same? But this isn't loss. It's evolution. You're shedding what no longer aligns with who you're becoming. The pain of seeing through illusions. One of the hardest parts of awakening is seeing the truth behind everything. You start noticing fake intentions, hidden motives, surface-level behavior, and it becomes hard to ignore. It hurts sometimes, because you wish you could go back to not seeing it, but deep down you know you can't. The patience this journey demands. This path isn't fast, it's not easy, and it's definitely not comfortable. There are moments where nothing makes sense, where you feel stuck between who you were and who you're becoming. But that space, that in-between, is where the real transformation happens. Why you feel misunderstood even by close people. Even the people closest to you sometimes don't get you anymore. They remember the old version of you, the version that fit into their expectations. But you've changed, and they don't know how to meet you where you are now, and that gap, it can feel heavy. The quiet strength you've developed. You don't react the same anymore. Things that used to trigger you don't have the same power. You've become more observant, more controlled, more aware. That's growth, not weakness. You're learning to move with intention, not emotion. The way you see the world now. You don't just see what's in front of you, you see what's behind it, the patterns, the systems, the deeper meaning. You question everything now, and sometimes that makes life feel heavier. But it also makes you free, because you're no longer living blindly. Why your circle is getting smaller. You've noticed it, haven't you? Your circle is shrinking, fewer people, fewer conversations. At first it felt like loss, but now it feels like clarity. Because you're no longer surrounded by just anyone, you're becoming selective with your energy. The calling you can't ignore anymore. There's something inside you pulling you, guiding you, calling you towards something bigger. Even when you try to ignore it, it doesn't go away, it gets louder. That's your purpose, and the more you resist it, the stronger it becomes. The fear of fully stepping into yourself. If you're honest, part of you is scared. Not of failing, but of what happens if you actually succeed, if you fully become who you're meant to be. Because that means letting go of everything that no longer aligns, and that takes courage. The truth about your transformation. This isn't just a mindset shift. This is a complete transformation of who you are. Your thoughts are changing, your energy is changing, your entire perspective is shifting. And even if it feels overwhelming, it's necessary. The version of you that's emerging. You're not becoming someone new. You're becoming who you always were before the world told you who to be. Layer by layer, mask by mask, you're uncovering your true self. And that version of you is powerful, aware, and unstoppable. The reason you feel this message so deeply. Not everyone will understand these words. Not everyone will feel this. But you do, and that's not by accident. Because something inside you recognizes the truth, even if you can't fully explain it yet. The moment you started choosing yourself. There was a time when you put everyone else first. You sacrificed your peace just to keep others comfortable. You stayed quiet when you wanted to speak. You stayed present where you felt invisible. But something shifted. Slowly, you started choosing yourself, not in a selfish way, but in a necessary way. And even though it felt unfamiliar at first, it also felt like freedom. Like you were finally returning to yourself after being lost for so long. The guilt that comes with growth. Let's be real, growth doesn't always feel good. Sometimes it comes with guilt. Guilt for saying no. Guilt for setting boundaries. Guilt for walking away from people you once cared about. But that guilt isn't truth, it's conditioning. You were taught to abandon yourself to keep others happy, and now that you're unlearning that, it feels uncomfortable. The silence that speaks louder than words. You've become quieter, haven't you? Not because you have nothing to say, but because you see no reason to explain yourself to everyone anymore. You've realized that not everyone deserves access to your thoughts. Not everyone is meant to understand your journey. And that silence, it's not emptiness. It's power, it's peace, it's self-respect. The way you walk away now. Before, you used to hold on, you tried to fix things. You gave chances again and again. But now you walk away, not out of anger, but out of clarity. Because you finally understand, not everything is meant to be fixed. Some things are meant to be released. The inner peace you're starting to feel. Even with all the confusion, all the change, there are moments now where you feel calm, grounded, at peace. Moments where you're not searching, not chasing, not overthinking, just being. And those moments, they're signs. Signs that you're aligning with your true self. The strength you didn't realize you had. If you really look back, you've survived things that should have broken you. Moments of pain, of confusion, of deep emotional battles that nobody even knew you were fighting. But you're still here, still standing, still growing, and that says everything about your strength. The shift in what you value. Things that once impressed you don't impress you anymore. Status, attention, validation, it all feels empty now. What you value now is different: peace, truth, real connection, authenticity, and that shift changes everything. The awareness that isolates you. The more aware you become, the more isolated you sometimes feel. Because you can't unsee what you now understand. You can't pretend not to notice what's clear to you. And that creates distance, not because you want it, but because your energy no longer aligns with certain environments. The discipline this path requires. Awakening isn't just about realizing things, it's about applying them. It's about choosing growth even when it's uncomfortable, choosing truth even when it's hard, choosing yourself over and over again. And that takes discipline, a quiet, consistent strength that not everyone can maintain. The version of you that people can't control anymore. There was a time when people could influence you easily. Their opinions shaped you. Their approval mattered. But not anymore. Now you think for yourself. You move with intention. You don't follow blindly. And that makes you powerful. The reason your path feels so different. You keep looking around, wondering why your journey doesn't look like everyone else's. Why things don't come the same way. Why your life feels so different. But that's the point. Your path was never meant to be ordinary. It was designed specifically for you. The courage it takes to keep going. There are days when you feel tired, days when you question everything, days when you just want things to make sense. But you keep going. Even when it's hard, even when it's unclear. And that quiet perseverance is what sets you apart. The truth about losing people on this journey. Yes, you will lose people. Some will walk away. Some will misunderstand you. Some will never see your growth. And it will hurt. There's no denying that. But every loss creates space. Space for people who align with who you're becoming, not who you used to be. The power of finally accepting yourself. The moment you stop fighting who you are, everything changes. You stop seeking validation. You stop explaining yourself. You stop shrinking. And instead, you start living, fully, authentically, unapologetically. The realization that changes everything. You were never behind. You were never lost. You were never too different. You were just on a path that few people understand. And now you're starting to see it clearly. The moment you stopped explaining yourself. There was a time when you felt the need to explain everything, your choices, your silence, your distance. You wanted people to understand you so badly. But now, something inside you has shifted. You no longer feel that urgency. You no longer chase understanding from those who were never willing to see you. Because you've realized the right people won't need constant explanations. They'll feel you. They'll understand you without you having to prove anything. The weight you finally put down. You were carrying so much, expectations, opinions, emotional burdens that were never yours to begin with. And for a long time, you didn't even realize it. It just felt normal, heavy but normal. But now you're letting it go, slowly, piece by piece. And with every weight you release, you feel lighter, freer, more like yourself. The truth about your sensitivity. They called you too sensitive, didn't they? Like it was something negative, something you needed to fix. But your sensitivity is not weakness, it's awareness, it's depth, it's the ability to feel what others ignore. And in a world that avoids emotions, your ability to feel deeply is actually a rare kind of strength. The boundaries you're learning to protect. You've started setting boundaries, not walls but limits. Limits on what you tolerate, limits on who gets access to your energy, limits on how much of yourself you give. And yes, some people do like it, but that's how you know those boundaries are necessary. The clarity that replaced confusion. You used to overthink everything, question every decision, doubt yourself constantly. But now there's a new sense of clarity, a quiet knowing. Even if you don't have all the answers, you trust yourself more. And that trust changes how you move through life. The way your energy has shifted. People can feel it, even if they don't say it. There's something different about you now, a calmness, a presence, a quiet confidence. You're no longer seeking attention, but somehow, your energy draws it naturally. The detachment that protects your peace. You've learned to step back, to observe instead of react, to feel without being consumed. That detachment isn't coldness, it's protection, it's emotional intelligence. You've realized that not everything deserves your reaction, and that realization brings peace. The truth about your timing. You used to compare your journey to others, wondering why things weren't happening as fast. But now you're starting to understand, your timing is different. Everything is unfolding exactly when it's meant to. Not early, not late, just right. The version of you that's no longer available. There's a version of you that no longer exists, the one who tolerated less, the one who stayed silent, the one who doubted their worth. And even if people expect that version, you can't go back to it. Because you've grown, and growth doesn't reverse. The inner alignment you're beginning to feel. For the first time in a long time, you feel aligned. Not perfectly, but genuinely. Your thoughts, your actions, your energy, they're starting to match. And that alignment, it brings a kind of peace that external validation never could. The reason you feel drawn to solitude. You're not isolating yourself, you're reconnecting with yourself. Solitude is no longer loneliness. It's clarity, it's healing, it's understanding your own energy without distractions. And in that space, you're finding answers you never found in noise. The shift from reacting to observing. You don't jump into situations the same way anymore. You take a step back, you watch, you understand. And that shift gives you control, it gives you awareness. Because when you observe first, you see the truth before getting emotionally involved. The peace you're protecting at all costs. Peace has become your priority, not validation, not approval, not temporary happiness. And because of that, you've started making different choices. Walking away sooner, speaking less, choosing wisely, protecting your energy like it actually matters because now you know it does. The realization that you are enough. You don't feel the need to prove yourself the way you used to. You're not chasing worth anymore. You're recognizing it. And that shift from seeking validation to owning your value changes everything about how you show up in the world. The way you no longer chase what leaves. There was a time when you ran after people, after opportunities, after anything that made you feel wanted. You thought holding on was strength. You thought chasing meant you cared. But now you see it differently. What's meant for you won't require you to lose yourself to keep it, and what leaves was never aligned with you in the first place. The calm confidence growing inside you. It's not loud, it's not something you show off. But it's there, a quiet confidence, a deep knowing that you're becoming someone stronger, wiser, and more aware. You don't need to announce it, you feel it, and that's enough. The truth about outgrowing your past. Sometimes you look back, and you barely recognize the person you used to be. The way you thought, the way you tolerated things, the way you saw yourself. And it's not that you hate that version, it's that you've evolved beyond it. You've learned, you've expanded, you've grown. The emotional independence you've built. You no longer depend on others to feel okay. Yes, you still feel emotions deeply, but you don't rely on someone else to fix them. You've learned how to sit with yourself, understand yourself, heal yourself, and that kind of independence is powerful. The shift from seeking to attracting. Before, you were always seeking, looking for answers outside, looking for validation, looking for direction. But now things are starting to come to you, opportunities, real connections, clarity. Because when you align with yourself, you don't chase, you attract. The awareness of your own patterns. You've started noticing your own patterns, your triggers, your reactions, your habits. And instead of ignoring them, you're facing them, understanding them, changing them. That level of self-awareness is rare, and it's what leads to real transformation. The truth about your emotional depth. You don't feel things lightly. When you care deeply. When you feel fully. And yes, that has hurt you in the past, but it has also shaped you into someone who experiences life on a deeper level. Your depth is not a burden, it's a gift, one that not everyone is capable of carrying. The strength in your silence. You've learned that silence is not weakness. You don't need to respond to everything. You don't need to prove your point in every situation. If you felt this deep in your soul, don't scroll past it like it's nothing. This wasn't just a video, this was a wake-up call. You were meant to hear this, right now, at this exact moment. So don't ignore it, own it, step into it. Drop a comment below and tell me, what is the biggest sign that made you realize you're different? I want to hear your story. Hit that like button if you're ready to fully embrace who you are, and subscribe to Chosen Wave because this journey is just getting started. And trust me, you don't want to walk this path alone. This is your moment. Don't go back to sleep.